Welcome back to Volume 2 of DanDaDan, where we got dongs, spirits, and a potential love triangle. If you don't want Turbo Granny to snatch your rod, leave a like on the video and subscribe with the notification bell on. Now, let's get into it. We start off the chapter with Momo and Okarun running from the bound spirit. Momo then tells Okarun that he needs to transform, but it's harder to control Turbo Granny because of her true form is now inside of Okarun. Okarun then transforms, and they start to run, while Momo is piggybacking on his back. Turns out, Okarun cannot turn while in this form, so they run straight off a cliff. But Okarun turned his legs into a helicopter, but he cannot sustain that for long. Honestly, the training arc cannot come fast enough. Even though they ran off the cliff and flew for a little bit, the water spider is easily catching up to him, and their chase begins again. They then notice that regular people cannot see spirits, so everybody's just questioning as they're just running through the city. They then lead a crab into a hot spring because Momo thought boiling the crab was going to help defeat it or help it stop from moving, because once the crab is cooked, you know, it stiffens up. You need to have some good ass crab, you know? And I think that was her plan. She wanted to eat that crab. I knew it. Now, running on foot, they see more and more people in the distance running towards them. It turns out something to be from The Walking Dead, a large mob of zombies just running towards them. Full speed. Okarun then transform again, running through the mob, but then he throws up from exhaustion. But within all that happening, Momo lets go of Granny during the process, reminding me of Sakura. If you know, you know. Granny then comes up to Okarun, kicking him 10 feet, and then going up to Momo and kicking her 15 feet. Like, she was not playing. She said, you gotta respect your elder. Turbo Granny then merges with the bound spirit again, the crab. But then Momo challenged her to a race and says, give me 1 second. Then suddenly, Momo pops out with these Kurama Chakra mode hands from Naruto and grabs onto a train and says, bye bye, see you the fuck later. As the bound spirit was getting closer to him, because Turbo Granny is still into it, the train can only go 120 kilometers per hour. So, and she can run 100, but when the train curves, they go slower. So that gives Turbo Granny a chance to catch up. But then the train leads to Kagemo City, where my goat, Dodoria, is just waiting for him. Once they enter the city, Dodoria and Momo burns up the bound spirit. When the spirit explodes, it looks like other humans are coming from it, and Momo takes notice. The group, Momo, Dodoria, and Okarun, all go to the haunted tunnel to pay respects, because there were multiple murders at that tunnel that ended up in the bound spirit and was unable to move on. Back home, while having a seafood boil to celebrate their victory over the crab, of course, Dodoria asks Okarun to see his rod. You know, you gotta make sure you have it, make sure everything is how it's supposed to be. But Okarun runs, he says, hell the fuck no, and then he goes on to go home. But before that, we get a glimpse between Momo and Okarun having some mutual feelings for each other. Now, we're back to school life. Kinda. Okarun is kinda nervous to say hi to Momo when he sees her, and he just walks past her. But, of course, Momo went up to him and gave him a friendly bump. While Okarun is in class, he still gets bullied, and he forgives him over and over, because he finally has a friend. Momo's classmates are trying to figure out what's been going on with her, why she hasn't been answering the phone, why hasn't she been coming to school, and all she's thinking about is talking to Okarun about aliens, while Okarun wants to talk about Momo about ghosts. They clearly think about one another, and you see again those mutual feelings. Now, Kith. Comes lunchtime, they're trying to find each other around the school, but unknowingly goes further and further from each other. One goes to the cafeteria, one goes outside to look, and then the other one goes to the lunchroom and try to find, and the other one goes outside, and eventually they kind of give up. While thinking where the other could be on a bench right across from each other, they then get up, thinking, looking down, not paying attention, and then they bumped into each other. But when they bumped into each other, they kissed. They kissed. After being caught that they were kissing, they insult each other. But then Okarun goes to the bathroom and notices that his balls are missing. You know, he has his rod, he can pee now, but now his balls are missing, and that's important. All right. Okarun then finds Momo and says that he really needs to talk to her regarding his balls, of course. Momo tells him to leave her alone. She's embarrassed because of her classmates calling him her boyfriend. While going home, Okarun bumps into a girl named Aria. I'm gonna call her Aria, Aira. Area touches him, and Okarun gets flustered because he's not used to getting touched by girls and being social, of course. Momo then sees this and thought they were friends, but as Area was walking away, she insults Okarun, and Momo's hears and validate Aria's feelings. You know, kind of like gaslighting. You know, making her feel herself. You know, that kind of thing. Momo then makes a mental fall on Aria's head and grabs Okarun's arm and tells him, "Let's walk home together." As they walk, she apologizes. Then they get home and Okarun finally says that he has no balls and Momo cannot contain herself. She is dying fucking laughing. Dodoria is saying like, "Hey, you should let me look. You know, I was trying to make sure trying to look out for you, but you said no." Dodoria then grabs this mirror and lets Okarun know that he has something inside of him. Dodoria then grabs her paper fan to smack the spirit along with Momo ripping it out. They goes into a cat, which they had a seal on it. The cat then runs and they all search for it. Momo uses her improving psychic abilities to find and grab it. Turns out it's Turbo Granny. She's waiting to get her strength back to kill them. Alright. Okarun then yells at Turbo Granny to give his balls back. Then Okarun suddenly goes into his Turbo Granny form. Turns out he still has her powers in him. Granny then says that she lost Okarun's balls. Now we gotta go on a massive search for Okarun's balls. Turbo Granny then explains that she enveloped each of Okarun's balls in a gold ball called a spirit membrane. Granny also says that the spirits and yokai are attracted to life force within the ball. So then back to school, Momo and Okarun go and still search for Okarun's balls. And in the class, Okarun gets approached in school, and this dude asks him if him and Momo are a thing. Okarun denies, and then but then the guy asks if Okarun can then introduce him and Momo together, saying that Momo's cute. That gets Okarun thinking. He's just like, Momo cute? Momo cute. Cute Momo cute. Holy shit, she is cute. But we'll get back into that later. Okarun then transforms into Turbo Granny after hearing that people were spreading rumors about Momo, and he forces the guy to tell him who is spreading the rumors. The guy said it wasn't him, and Okarun then lets him go and then apologizes. Granny turned out to be inside Okarun's bag and then says she hasn't been in school in years, and tries to sweet talk Okarun into giving Granny her powers back. Okarun didn't fall for it, of course, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna need my balls first, you know." Momo then comes up to him and asks what's he up to, realizes how cute Momo is. You know, as I said before, he starts getting super nervous around Momo. He just like, damn, I realized I ain't noticed before, but now, you know, you bad, girl. Momo's in class and hears about how Okarun stood up for her, and she's beginning to think why Okarun is even avoiding her now. You defended my name, and now you're avoiding me? What's up? You know, she's confused. But when we cut to Area, and how she thinks she's super cute and kind and she should get all the attention, and she's the one that started the rumor, which is that Momo is a slut. Also, Area thinks Momo is the devil that grew devil wings. If you remember the KCM arms, metal pot, you know, metal pan, you know, she noticed. She can see it. It also seems that Area has found one of the golden balls, which causes to think Area is the chosen one. Area then gets her friends to get a cross in the Bible to prepare to defeat Momo with the exorcism, thinking that she's saving the world since she's the chosen one because she's so beautiful and kind and she has this gold ball. We then cut to Momo and Okarun, and we see that Okarun cannot look at Momo. Turbo then says that if a human picks up his balls, they will awaken their spiritual powers and will be able to see spirits, and that they might be attacked because spirits and yokai are attracted to the life force inside of the balls. As Momo and Okarun get together and start looking again, Area calls up Momo and asks to talk to her. As Momo and Area starts to talk, Momo is tackled down to the ground by two girls, and Arya tries to then exorcise Momo with the Bible and the cross. Momo then uses her KCM arms. I'm gonna keep calling KCM because this is exactly what they are. You see the panel? It's two arms. Come on now. Looks just like Naruto. Fucking Momo. Pretty similar, right? But then she used her KCM arms to get the girls off her, and then Area shoves the golden ball in Momo's face, thinking it would defeat her. Momo tells Area that that's Okarun's balls, but of course, Area doesn't believe her. She thinks she's the devil. Okarun then runs in and says that that's speaking about the eerie woman they saw, but she's Momo thought that Area was the eerie woman, which she's not. Area is the eerie woman's target. The eerie woman then appears and then grabs Area. The eerie woman then claims to be Area's mother, and Okarun transforms and tries to attack the eerie woman. Okarun then gets eaten by the eerie woman, and Momo tries to help Okarun with her KCM arms, but her hands are tied, so it's harder to control. The eerie woman then remembers when Area called her mommy, so I guess this is really Area's mom. But she remembers when Area called her mommy for the first time, and she wants Area to call her mommy again. The eerie woman turns out to be a spirit named an acrobatic Silky. Area then calls Silky a monster, and Silky eats Area. Then it blames Momo for making Area into a naughty girl. She's bad girl. She has to go now. She's tainted. Silky then grabs Momo with her hair and tells Momo to call Silky mommy. The Silky tries to, guide her through its M-O-M-M-Y, but then Momo says that Silky is a moron. And then Silky eats Momo because he called me a fucking moron. Silky then catches on fire unsuspectingly by Momo, who lit on fire with a lighter that happened to be the cross Area had. Momo then rescues Okarun and Area and prepares to counterattack, and that's where the volume ends off. And it was pretty action-packed, a lot of lore, and now we got Okarun's missing balls. He can't catch a break, of course. And if you don't want TurboGrandad to take your balls, and if you're enjoying the ride of DanDaDan, don't forget to like and subscribe. We read volumes live on the channel, so keep post notifications on. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.